Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Uh, Error alerts. Donetsk, Kharkiv City, and Sumy regions under error alert currently. Uh, Thankfully, that is all for right now. Um, Not a whole lot has been happening tonight. Not anything close to like last night. Um, I'm going to scroll back to the beginning of the day because there's a question I want to put out to everybody. Namely, how many drones and missiles did Israel launch yesterday? Well, Russia launched 440 Shaheeds at Ukraine. And, well, here, let's translate this to make it easier. 2 Kinzhal aeroballistic missiles, 16 X-101 cruise missiles, 4 Caliber missiles, 9 Dagger X-59-69 missiles, and 1 anti-radar missile. So 14, 32 missiles, 440 drones. And this was barely covered in the media yesterday. Last night, essentially. It was ongoing as we were streaming last night. Yeah, 472 launches against Ukraine last night. And, I was upset because, like, the one report I heard was Iran launched 4 missiles while this was going on. So, yeah, no coverage, and everybody covering the 4 missiles from Iran that I know of. It was more than that, I'm sure. Let's see what Google says. How many did Iran launch last night? Last night, Iran launched a barrage of approximately 30 missiles. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday, so a 4-day weekend, Russia launched about 300, or excuse me, Iran launched about 295 missiles. One night, 472. So in one night, Russia outdid Ukraine's or Iran's entire weekend. I don't get it. And I'm going to just scroll up to the beginning of the day. These videos came out before the total report. And we'll come back to that in a little bit because I have to cover the after action report from Ukraine for today, too. Hey there, Pyro Kurt, Indie Darkstar. Yes, a U.S. citizen did lose their life in the attacks last night in Kyiv. A name has not been released yet. And I'm assuming that will be up to the family of the victim. Uh, McPigeon, always good to see you. Linda H, not Sherlock Holmes, Adam Rounds, and M35. Hello, everybody. Let's keep the air alert map up. Explosions just reported in Zaporizhia. 5:22 a.m. in Ukraine right now. Explosions reported 3 minutes ago. Getting to the after action report. Operational information as of 0800 June 17th regarding the Russian invasion. Almost 22 hours ago, 23 hours ago, this report came out. As always, it starts with glory to Ukraine. The 1,210th day of the large-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has begun. In total, 186 combat clashes were recorded over the past 24 hours. According to updated information, yesterday the invaders launched 2 missile strikes and 56 airstrikes on the territory of Ukraine. They used 5 missiles in the 2 strikes and dropped 110 guided aerial bombs. In addition, they engaged 3,226 kamikaze drones for destruction and carried out 5,481 artillery shellings on the positions of our troops and settlements. 96 of those were from MLRSs. Airstrikes were carried out near or in the settlements of Kotin, Kuyantiska, or Kuyantos, yeah. That one's a hard one. The double Y is a weird sound in, because it's like the Y in Ukrainka. So it's like a double U, and then having the double U, and it just throws me off. Sorry. Getting off topic there. Yablunivka in Sumy, Sakove in Donetsk, Malanivka in Dnipro, Malivka, in Dnipro, Malanivka, Olivsky, Guliapol, Berezova, Malotokmaka, Kamiansky, Novosilka in Zaporizhia, and Mykolaievka in Kherson. Over the past day, defense forces, aviation, missile forces, and artillery units of Ukraine struck 8 areas of concentration of enemy personnel, weapons, and equipment, 5 artillery pieces, and 1 other important enemy facility. In the north, Slobohansk and Kursk directions. Now let me hop over to the deep state map, and Sumy and Kursk area. Ukrainian soldiers have repelled 38 assault actions of the occupiers. In addition, the enemy has carried out 14 airstrikes, dropping 32 guided bombs. This is in addition to these up here. Also carried out 225 artillery shellings on the positions of our troops and settlements. One of those was from an MLRS. In the south, Slobohansk, Kharkiv area, the enemy stormed the positions of our units 4 times in the areas of Drovzheny and Kamianka. Kamianka is here. Dovjenki, depending on what spelling you're going with. Those were the two areas of attacks in South Slobozansk. I'm still getting used to pronouncing that instead of saying Kharkiv. In the Kupiansk direction, 4 attacks by the invaders took place during the day. The defense forces repelled enemy assault actions in the areas of Stepova. Okay, why is it not loading? Again, that's a typo. Stepova, Novosilka should be one word or one phrase without a comma. Zarazova, and in the direction of Golivka is up here. Where there? Golubivka and Petropavlivka. Heading further to the south from Kupiansk to Liman direction, covering this area of the front. The enemy attacked 7 times, trying to advance near the settlements of oh, my throat just does not want to cooperate today. Excuse me. Kopanki, Nadia, Grivkivka, Rydkobub, and Kolodazny. Bumping down further south to Servisk area. In the direction of, okay, this map just does not want to cooperate today. Girogorivka. The enemy attacked the positions of our troops once. Heading further to the west to Kramatorsk direction with Chasiv Yar, Konstantinivka right there in the middle. 12 clashes were recorded in the areas of Chasiv Yar itself, Krudimivka, Orokovo Vasilivka, and zooming in, Bila Gora. Heading further to the south to Torets direction. The enemy carried out 18 attacks in the areas of Toretsk itself, Divlivka, Sechirabenivka, moving further to the east, Rusin Yar, and Yablunivka. Zooming out and see how well I can get the Pokrovsk area covered. Still the hottest direction, but other areas have been heating up rather intensely. 38 in Sumy and 28 in Novopavlivka. But in Pokrovsk, 56 assault and offensive actions of the aggressor in the areas of Popiv Yar up here, Mirolubivka, Serchenko Pershi is one of these small towns I have to zoom in for. And there we go, right there, Serchenko Pershi. Zooming back out, Promin, Udashny, Novoserhivka. It's not loading in again. Okay, that's weird. Gorgovo, uh, Koltin Novopavlivka, Andrivka, and Oleksivka. Um, you'll see that this is the border right here. Let me make it more pronounced. Ah, yeah, draw a straight line. Sure. Anyways, this is the Dnipro Donetsk border, and you can see, as you can see, Russia is pushing right up against it and into it. One of Russia's goals is to reach this border, and they are pushing hard against these settlements in this area. Close this and zoom out a little bit, and you can see it's, you know, might as well just draw the line again. So, one of Russia's main goals is to push up against this border and eventually wrap around Pokrovsk, because they do not want to do urban warfare like they did in Toretsk or Bakhmut. They know it costs them dearly when they have to do assaults in cities. But yeah, this is going to be a very hot area, especially for the next couple months, while Russia tries to at least fulfill part of the goal of capturing Donetsk Oblast. Hey there, Pyro Kurt, already said that. Mitch, Derpat, hello. Coming over from Pokrovsk direction to the Novopavlivka direction and the southern area of Donetsk that is still Ukrainian held. In this small area, the enemy attacked our positions 28 times in the directions of Novosilka, Volinipol, Bogatar, Berlatsky, in the directions of Zaporizhia and Shevchenko. And as you can see, these fronts pushing outwards. I am curious if this is following a railroad line. Let's go to the satellite image. No, it does not look like there's a railroad line there. It's just following the river valley and the tree lines along there to push towards Zaporizhia. Okay, good to know. Heading over to Guliapol direction. Okay, I have to go back to the other map just because it had been loading issues already. In the Guliapol direction, our defenders repelled 4 offensive actions of the enemy near Malanivka. So all in this area right here. Heading further to the west to Orhiv, where our defenders repelled 2 enemy assaults near Nestoryanka. That is a new settlement for me. Come on, load it so the Why it's doing that, I have no idea. Nesteryanka, they're all the same size lettering. Um, so still, you know, fighting over the same area for such a long time. 2003, Ukraine pushed Russians back to Robotny, and this is how much the lines have moved in this area, basically in the last 2 years. Not very much. Heading over to Dnipro direction, specifically, it should say Dnipropetrovsk. Ukrainian soldiers repelled the attack of the invaders in the areas of the Antonov Bridge. So Russia is trying to push out this bridge for a potential crossing back into Kherson to try and take the Kherson Oblast. It's going to be quite a challenge because oh, I'm sorry, I'm drawing out Mykolaievka. Kherson is basically this area right here. Basically, they had all of Kherson Oblast before, and Ukraine pushed them out of there. If Russia tries to get back in there, they're going to face some heavy resistance, I am sure. Zooming out and getting rid of my bad drawing. Yeah, more meat for the grinder. Oh, hey, BB, good to see you. Lee in Wakefield, good to see you. Gato Negro, good to see you. The Black Cat. Our soldiers, no signs of the formation of enemy offensive groups have been detected in Volyn or Polizia directions. Our soldiers continue to inflict significant losses in manpower and equipment on the occupation forces and are actively undermining the enemy's offensive potential in the rear. Goes into the losses for today. We'll cover that with the graphic here shortly. And we end the report with join the defense forces. Razom Pereможемо. Slava Ukraina. Yeah, a little bit better every day, Daddy Jim. Meds are starting to even out. Heading over for the losses for today and back to the air alert map. An additional 1,060 personnel reported as casualties today for Russia. Again, we're over the 1 million by 600 or 6,120 personnel, 1 additional tank, 3 additional armored personnel vehicles, 20 artillery systems. It's going to be interesting when that crosses the 30,000 mark. The 30,000 mark is double Russia's reported number of active artillery units pre-invasion. So yeah, that 30,000 mark is going to be an interesting milestone. 1 MLRS, 177 UAVs, and 79 vehicles. That is Russia's losses for today, June 17th, 1,210th day of the full-scale invasion. And you have to forgive me, I'm a bit distracted here. I was cooking up some hamburger to make tacos. Taco. And You know, that one time you just don't pay attention for a little bit and the grease gets a little too hot. And literally in slow motion, I saw like a little splatter of the grease and saw the drop heading right towards my eye. And yeah, I got grease splatter right in my eye. But it's funny how your brain goes in entirely slow mo with that, and it's like, oh shit, I should have reacted faster. Um, Not so many soldiers, but plenty of mobile barricades. What do you mean, Sherlock Holmes? I'm top chat instead of live chat, so I might have missed something there. Uh, so yeah, doing a little bit better, but trying to injure myself before I go on my vacation. Um, Heading over to Telegram again, and no address from Zelensky today because he's in meetings with everyone else that went to G7. Of course, Taco Trump left early, so he didn't have to talk to Zelensky. Um, yeah, who's missing? Taco Trump. I love that nickname. It just rolls off the tongue. Even financial wizards can be creative sometimes. Talking about those guys on Wall Street that came up with taco for Trump. Uh, with that said, heading over to Canty Center and early in the morning, um, going through videos coming out of Ukraine, and here is a Russian drone slamming into a side of an apartment building in Kyiv. Um, yeah, that's kind of calling Russian military personnel soldiers is kind of a misnomer. But I wouldn't necessarily call them soldiers. They're at best conscripts, or like if you go with independence era fighting, militia, because they're literally grabbing people off the street in Russia, handing them a rifle, showing them how to shoot like 10 shots, and then sending them to the front line in Ukraine. I mean, that's basically the truest form of infantry. The root word being infant. Babies with guns, because that's essentially their mentality. Um, you know, for those that did not get to see this before, this is an apartment building in Kyiv that was hit. Not the first one, but another one. This is not two apartment buildings. This is one apartment building. The entire middle collapsed. Um, it wasn't until I saw this frame here that I realized I've been to this park. Um, there's a small utility building here, and there's a bench right here. As I was walking around, I sat on that bench to take a breather while I was walking around Kiev last spring. So yeah, I know where this is. I've been there, and I've sat on that bench right there. But yeah, like basically two apartments um wide, just a hole right through the middle. Again, that same building. Oh, I hope they're giving her good drugs, general consensus. If you want to let us know what happened, yeah. Ah, sorry, still working with, my eyes going out of focus because of the burning it. 4 hours in surgery after a 5-hour wait in the ER. Yeah, it sounds like American healthcare. Yeah, best wishes and a speedy recovery to your mom. Jungo Wumba sounds like a category on Pornhub. One of these days I'll have to check out Pornhub and see if that is a category. Some of the other strikes around Kiev. This is by the railroad area and airport in the southwestern part of Kiev. And I got a video from one of the apartment buildings basically behind this view later. And okay, this video is on here too. These two they live in an apartment that was hit. Their son is trapped in the rubble, and at this point they were waiting for rescuers to dig him out. Sadly, I can say that story does not end well. And that was all coming out even before the total report for this yesterday morning. Again, 472 objects, 440 drones, 32 missiles launched at Ukraine yesterday night or last night. And Kyiv residents, be careful. Cluster submunitions from enemy missiles were discovered. It is a possibility that such balls exist in other areas of the capital. I don't know if they show them, but you can see an entire area taped off and waiting sappers and deminers to come in. That's all the ones found so far unexploded and the shells from part of it.
Такі маленькі кульки знаходяться внутрі для максимального ураження людей. Іншим, ніж геноцид, це назвати не можна. Зробити все для того, щоб загинула максимальна кількість людей, використовують такі снаряди, атакуючи мирне місто.
Shoot, I remember seeing you get the membership on Chungus's channel, but I can't remember who was the gifter for that. Wish I had better memory there for you, Liam. The moment a UAV hit a house in Odessa and the consequences of that. And if you're ever wondering why I hate rice rockets now, right here's why. Now they got the fire out and immediately cleanup begins.
Я ніколи такого не бачила, не поняла, що відбувається. Коли удар був, ми взагалі цього не чули, коли прилетів на шахет. Ми іменно встали, бо щось сильно на нас впало. Я бужу мужа свого, він стоїть, каже, мене нога болить. І, виходить, все вікно на нас випало. Там трошки, звісно, штукатурки, цього всього посипалось на нас. Світим, розумієш, у нас взагалі вікна немає, дверей у нас там немає, шкафа немає. Всі тумочки повилітали, двері взагалі улетіли почти чуть ли не в кухню. Слава Богу,
Yeah, I think Titan got one too. Titan or Tone, I can't remember.
А вещи, це, мені кажется, таке, ну, саме головне, що вижили просто.
То спалахнули ряд пожеж, які оперативно ліквідували, але наразі нам відомо про 2 людей, які можуть перебувати під завалами. Допоки цих людей не знайдуть, роботи будуть продовжуватися.
It's odd, the things that I remember and the, silly things that you remember, and then the important stuff you forget. This is by the railroad tracks and airport in the southwest of Kyiv from the apartment block behind it. So the other video we saw was from down here.
Виключим світло і будемо мовчати про те, що не можна словами сказати, не можна писати, не
Yeah, I can get rid of that because that video was on the other one and I don't want to go through that video again. The first minutes after the Russian attack on Kyiv through the eyes of a patrol officer and his chest cam.
В укриття, куди ви йдете? Бігом!
I'm telling people to get back against the, out of the street, basically.
Давай, 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 давай. Давай, 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 давай. Щас, ще одна. Бери оба. Держись, не рухайся.
One thing I do want to point out here, they're speaking Russian. The subtitles are in Ukrainian. So, not to be a dick, but I'd love to ask these Russian speakers how they feel about Russia coming to protect them.
Держи носилки. Есть. Так, дивіться, підходьте сюди, тому що може ще взриватися. Ідіть сюди, 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 сюди. Пацани, є хто? Давай, давай, давай. Давай, давай. Давай. Есть кто в квартире? Кто здесь? Отходь от дверей.
People trapped in their apartment because the door jamb moved and couldn't be opened, so they have to take the door out of the wall.
Ви самі вдома?
But again, that is the police officers in Kyiv running to the danger and helping civilians. With all the protests going on here in the States, we like to demonize police officers. But until you're in a situation like this, you don't really realize how much they put on the line for us. So, shout out to not only Ukrainian police and protectors, but also those who put their lives on the line for civilians every day. One decent thing has come out of the Iran-Israeli conflict. It is reported that there is currently large-scale radio electronic interference and electronic warfare happening in the Persian Gulf and the region in general. Today, 2 tankers collided and caught fire in the Straits of Hormuz, one of which is called Aldean and flies the flag of that place, Antigua and Barbuda. This tanker belongs to the Shadow Fleet of the Russian Federation. Because of the electronic warfare and jamming that's going on in the Pacific or the Persian Gulf, they were thrown off course, and one less tanker for the Russian Shadow Fleet. And shout out to the kids. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I agree exactly. Dark Art Design says it was never about the Russian language. Don't let the Russian narrative twist it around. Yeah, that's kind of why I was calling that out. There was Russian speakers being attacked by Russia. Kind of points out the idiocy of Russia saying they're there to protect Russian speakers. Yeah, the steel doors like that are very, very common over in Kiev. Just about everybody I saw had a steel outer door and then like a wooden or decorative inner door. So kind of like an airlock. And then like the stairwells into the apartments had their own security door. You know, that's what you needed because of, you know, the Soviet Union passed. If it wasn't the Gestapo coming after you, or whatever they're called under Russia or USSR, it was criminal gangs trying to rob you if you had anything important. Yeah, and general consensus says all first responders in Ukraine are risking their lives just to do their job. Many have been wounded and killed. Very, very true, especially when Russia purposely targets the first responders. And we all know the phrase double tap. But I also want to give a shout out to the young boys here. School children helped clear rubble after the Russian attack in Solomansky district of the capital. You know, this deserves respect, and well, you know, here's my respect towards these kids. Especially this kid, he's after my own heart, out there doing construction work in shorts. This is essentially my neighborhood. And yes, I do call it my neighborhood. Zoom in here. This is the building I stayed in when I was in Ukraine. This general area right here is the Solomansky district. That missile hit right here. When I'd go to this park, I'd come out here, walk through here, and come across into this park here. So yeah, I've walked by that building. The other one area it was hit was here, and at the National Aviation University dorms. And then another strike was over in this area. I believe the building that the middle collapsed out of was the one over here. And yeah, just by the location, I wouldn't know it, but yeah, seeing that playground, that hurt a little. But yeah, my neighborhood. Thank you, boys, for helping clean up my neighborhood. I'm only going to play a short bit of this. You know, I don't mean to be cutting onions, but that is the father and mother you saw before. And from that reaction, I think you know the news. Old Soviet locks are crap. We bought some decent ones for my ex-mom. Yeah, the thing with the Soviet locks is they didn't really like do many different combinations of key codes. You know, the little bumps and dips on your key. Um, they produce, you know, obviously way more than this, but say they produced 1,000 locks, there was probably 5 different keys for those 1,000 locks. So if you just sat there and tried your key in a couple different houses, you'd find one that it unlocks that wasn't your house. Uh, big security. Yeah, that's exactly it, Liam Wakefield. Russia suppressed the speaking of Ukrainian since like the 1930s, if not before that. Well, I know before that, but uh, when Ukraine tried to reacquire their language and heritage, oh, you're attacking Russians. That's kind of like Americans telling Native Americans that no, you can't learn your language because that oppresses English speakers. Think about it. Oh, it wasn't just in eastern Ukraine. In Lviv, there were uprisings because people were executed for speaking Ukrainian. And just because it was spoken in Ukrainian, they said it was submissive or subversive language and executed them as traitors to the USSR. And there's an entire era of underground Ukrainian art and poems and songs from that. A sardine can key for your old Ford, yeah. Yeah, and just Russia was stuck. I shouldn't say Russia. The USSR was basically stuck in a lot of technology to like the 1920s, 1930s. You could see it in like the old T-62s. They were essentially based off of the Sherman tanks that we sent over in World War II. So basically a mix of the Shermans and the old the 72s or the 100s. I can't remember. I'm not a huge military buff. I don't. You want to talk like arms and armor from the 1400s? I'm your guy. Modern stuff, yeah. uh, anyways, the situation in Konstantinivka. And
Каву просимо в Константинівку.
walking into Konstantinivka and passing a air defense mobile unit that was hit by an FPV. After Operation Spiderweb, Ukrainka Air Base, interesting name, don't you think, became the main location for almost all Tu-95 MSs. tracking and such above. To launch missiles, aircraft fly from their air bases near Ukraine, then combat sorties with launches, and then return to Ukrainka. So this is satellite image of the Ukrainka air base in the far east of Russia. And basically this is what Russia's doing. Sends them way over here. Come up here to rearm. Down here, refuel, launch their sortie, and then back over here. So, way over here. And, this is the village, Ukrainka. Basically, Ukraine. I am wondering if this village exists. I can't prove it, but I'd love to know for sure. But when Russians were deporting Ukrainians from Ukraine and putting Russian ethnic Russians in Ukraine, I'm wondering if this is one of the areas they were deported to have that village name all the way over here. Borispol, another Ukrainka. Wonder if there's Voloka. Yeah, I'm just seeing there's other more Ukrainian names than Russian names. Mykolaiivka, Petrovka. There was another Petrovka down over here. Borispil. Same name as the town next to Kiev. Pavlovka. And there's other obvious Russian names in here, but Lipovka. There's a lot of oddly Ukrainian names in this part of Russia. So yeah, I would assume this is one of the areas that Ukrainians got deported to. But Borispil. Sound familiar? That's interesting. But, and then coming back around again to have that area be used to safeguard Russian planes from Ukrainian drones. I don't know, there's a certain, I don't know what the word is for it, but there's a certain something in that. Oh, general consensus, that dates back far, far, far back. I remember such things happening back in like the 1600s, 1700s. There were stories about that. Uh, Go to the junkyard with your key and find one that it fits in, huh? Uh, Stephen Walsh, I'm feeling pretty good, except, well, I was dumb and let my hamburger launch a grease missile into my eye. The gunpowder factory in Tambov last night. So it wasn't all Russia attacks. Ukrainian were attacking as well. Okay, I'm gonna jump way off target here for a minute. Head back to the United States and Arizona. My dad was Navy, and my mom started bringing us in near Luke Air Force Base every time my dad got stationed overseas, because she got tired of going to odd places overseas. And I got my first car when at well, this is Glendale High School, and this used to be a trailer court. Looks like it might still be. Yeah, this is where I lived when I got my first car. It did not look this nice when I lived there. I'll tell you that right now. Ghetto bird every night, shots every night, drive-bys. But yeah, I got my first car here, and I didn't have 2 keys for my car. I had 3. One for the door. No, 4 actually. One for the door. One for the ignition. One for the trunk, and one for the gas cap. An eye ballistic. That's a good one, BB. Yeah, that's... Yeah, Glendale. Fun. Anyways. Like I said, a little off target, a little off subject. I do want to point out, look at how green most of Ukraine is in the satellite image. Maybe Eastern Washington, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, maybe some of Pennsylvania. A lot of this brown is because the Dnieper drainage, and essentially southern Ukraine is going through a Russian-made drought right now, because it was the Kakhovka Reservoir. that basically provided irrigation not only for this part of Ukraine. Well, you know, Crimea is still part of Ukraine, but it was that reservoir that also provided water to Crimea. You know, Russians really screwed over Crimea by taking out that dam. Because if you zoom in here, you see the beginning of the reservoir right at that dam. You zoom out now, and I'll try to get as close as I can with the new image. Nothing but sandbar there. There's no water heading down that reservoir. And let's go to a different view. And you can sit here and follow that reservoir down, basically following the road, irrigating all of this area of the northern part of Crimea. Again, coming further down, irrigating over here. Again, coming down and irrigating this entire, basically all of Crimea from that entrance right here. That, you know, even if they wanted to get water into this reservoir, they couldn't now because, well, that's what it looks like. A huge sandbar between the water and the intake. So, agricultural businesses in this entire area are dying because no water. Good move, Russia. Way to kill the economy of the territory you're trying to capture. Yeah, Mitch. The Ukraine closed the canal when Russia occupied Crimea, but you know they could have just opened it up. You know, valve open, water flow. You know, they were when they blew the dam. Russia controlled this right here. They controlled the opening. They controlled this gate right here, and they could let water flow whenever they wanted until they blew the dam. Now they'd have to rebuild this dam, wait 10 years for this reservoir to refill enough for water to flow down there. So even if like the war ended tomorrow, you're talking 10, 15 years, depending on construction time of the dam, to be able to irrigate southern Kherson and Crimea again. That's 15 years. You're looking at farmers losing land and livelihood. But the only thing they can do is maybe, if this is not that salty, tap into this and pump water over. But for it to get that color, that this is all brackish salt water, in my opinion. You know, surrounded by salt water. If you come over here to the mountains, you see like new dams being constructed, or just earthen dams to hold back the drainage. So this is one thing Russia is trying to do, and even with all that water held back, this is what they're able to irrigate. I mean, that's how much. I mean, that little runoff area irrigates this much. When the supply from the Novokakhovka Reservoir irrigated all of this and a good portion of this area. Other canals irrigated this area, and this area. And that's funny because it's, besides the Dnipro Oblast area, blowing that damn long-term affects every area Russia says they want to capture except this part of Dnipro. Says they want to capture, not that they want to capture. Oh, I did not hear about the that. Why do you want to deal with Zelensky, Petrie? I mean, yeah, I mean, that would be, I mean, they could do something like they did with the nuclear power plant. They dug a channel from the river over to the cooling reservoir, and then you see the drainage of the reservoir going back to the river. So they would have to do something like that. And unfortunately, you just can't get a zoomed in enough picture to see if there's something like that done. Now that's as close as you can get, and maybe they could deepen this channel and get the river to flow close to it. But you're also talking an active battlefront right here. And I don't think Ukraine will let Russians get construction equipment that close to the front at an obvious crossing point. And I don't think Russia's would, well, Ukraine has no real motive to change that right now. Anyways, deep dives down some holes that go to rabbity places. I'll tell you right now, the number of killed has increased since this, but in 15 people reported killed, 114 were injured, 68 hospitalized. That was at 3 a.m. my time, so 11 a.m. Ukraine time. And this is the video to go with that update. And you see the rescue workers still going through the rubble trying to find people. Puget sounds stinky though. Zelensky speaks really good English. And well, Starsky does too. You know, I'd invite people to join me here in South Dakota, but the only thing we have going for us in South Dakota is pheasant hunting. And, you know, the Corn Palace if you want to see a building decorated with corn cob. Hey there, Sally, you lurker. Yeah, we do have duck hunting and goose during the Canadian geese migration. But, no, what really gets everybody going in South Dakota is, oh, let's not do it on Google Maps. Well, October through January, pheasant season. Uh, and that's a small haul. So yeah, pheasant hunting's pretty big up here. Personally, I don't understand why. They taste a lot like chicken. Very like almost identical to chicken, just a little bit greasier. It's kind of like a quarter duck, 3/4 chicken. But yeah, that's the big thing here in South Dakota is pheasant hunting. Oh, that hurt. Corn Palace is pretty cool. I got a magnet there that's on my fridge. Spoken like a true Ukrainian, Sally Luz. Smile and nod to both of my heroes. Next to Peter. Which Peter? Andrew, that was a book, not you. Yes, despite, you know, everything I do, read books. Um, yeah, Sally, there's so much out there. You can't keep on top of everything. Um, it's why I started doing the videos so I could show you guys at least a small snippet of everything going on. Like I'm trimming out all the videos of Iran, all the gore videos. So you guys are getting maybe 1 out of 4 videos that are out there. And, you know, we get videos like this with some drone on drone action. You need that, you little knucklehead. She got the cup off of a medicine bottle and has been using it as a chew toy. No, that's not for you. No. Come here. No, pause up. Pause up. Come on. Say hi to everybody, Sonia. My little monster who's missing her mom. You know, the drone strikes in Odessa. I think we've already watched part of this. Yeah, the reason I dislike Rice rockets. The moment cluster munitions hit Kyiv, you know, if I'm not mistaken, aren't cluster munitions in civilian areas a war crime? And right down a line of apartment buildings in Kyiv. There isn't enough trees in South Dakota to do that, Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing, Sally, is, you know, with how the media is doing it, going right now, we're not going to hear about Ukraine unless we seek it out. Yeah. Yeah, I feel sorry for Alaskans. They're trapped in a, as well. Oh, if you don't know the channel Habitual Line Crosser, as he says, you know, Alaska is trapped between a war crime sandwich. You know, Russia and Canada, apparently. Although I don't know what he's talking about with Canada. I've never looked into that. 17 U.S. military tanker jets heading eastward. These are the paths they've been on so far. Italy, Greece, Romania, and Spain. Of course, England and France. Seems like strategically setting themselves to be able to refuel, well, you know, planes coming from the ocean, going through the Mediterranean. So, be interesting to see this develop as things go on. I know there was reports of like 30 of them. This is only 17, so there may be more deployments to come. From the 412th Nemesis Regiment, Commander Yarmak. This is just the beginning. A terrible, bloody autumn awaits us. If possible, go live outside Kyiv, away from strategic objects and critical infrastructure facilities. That is, you know, it's what, unfortunately, what people are saying in Ukraine right now. They're expecting things to continue to get worse. Saying, you know, get out of the capital and go to the dashas and and enjoy country life for a little while. You're such a lovey-dovey little pain in my butt. I do have nature yelling at me for a minute, so I'm going to play this video of a Russian soldier surrendering. Just before surrendering, he shows the drone a leaflet calling for surrender, which Ukrainian fighters recently scattered around the area. Here is that video as I take a short bathroom break. So how much dead air did I give you? Little sock monster. Yeah, that was the leaflet's falling, and then yeah, the rest of the video. Come on, focus eye. Well, I think the closer you live to military and strategic objects, the safer you're going to be, because Russia can't hit the broadside of a military base. Bad joke, but yeah. Well, he needed a little bit of convincing, Liam. Well, you know the old joke about the difference between love and like, since you guys are talking about love and hate in chat. You know the difference between love and like, right? On that note, the crew of a Leopard 1A5 of the 5th Heavy Mechanized Brigade shelling the positions of Russians. So here's the tank. Here's the Russians. Correction, there was the Russians. In the Konstantinivka direction, the Russians attempted to carry out an unusual, for now, large-scale mechanized assault. As a result, Russians lost 15 units of heavy equipment, 5 to 8 units of motorized equipment, and a lot of manpower. Here is the video from Konstantinivka.
Більше 10 одиниць проїхати в Донецькій області, але штук 8-10 не дають знову. Ще навіть пробую.
I understand that, Liam. I'm just trying to make it not as obvious that
Сьогодні на нас було.
I'm a lot more concerned about this trip to Ukraine than my last one.
Наверное, забирали.
Oh, here, no. Okay, I don't know why, but the disguised voice changer thing just rubs my ears the wrong way. You see the heat signatures of the armored vehicles already there and being hit, and they were just showing more coming down the road. Of course, blurring the area so it's not as recognizable and cannot geolocate it as easy. The thing is, I want to go, and it's not because of the bargain prices. I fell in love with Kyiv and in Ukraine in general. Why would I not go there, even if it's under war? I was hiding in my bathroom for 2 hours yesterday because of tornado alerts and thunderstorms. We just had a thunderstorm roll through here about 2 hours ago. Why should I not go visit a place I want to go visit? Because Russia. Oh darn, I might have to go to the basement a couple times. I'm doing that now. Oh, not to be outdone, and AAR deciding that, with the recent exchanges, we need to refill the exchange fund. Let's go get a Russian of our own.
Узкий Иван, подними свои кутяпки и следуй за дроном. Тогда у тебя есть шанс остаться живым. Унікальні кадри, бачите, від птахів Мадяра, сьогоднішні, 17 червня. В кадрі FPV-дрон і хробак, котрого FPV-дрон заполонив. Де в переміжку знімання з екрану FPV і зовнішнє фільмування весільним мавіком. Але ви все зрозумієте. Наш відомий командир екіпажу Пейн, герой України, воїн птахів Мадяра, котрий відомий ще як легендарний сопілкар, на рахунку котрого понад 500 засверлених гармат. Сьогодні на Донбаському напрямку заполонив хробака FPV-дроном F-10, зарядженим з намірами покінчити з ним, але хробак своєчасно підняв кутяпки, пілот Пень то зрозумів і вирішив провести через загородження по напрямку до передових позицій наших воїнів, провести того неборе для того, щоб отримати з нього
One drone watching, one drone leading.
ну і поступити гуманно, залишити того.
I guess he lost his crutch somewhere along the way.
Бачите, унікальні кадри, не знаю наскільки часто такі випадки стаються. Мавіки зі скидами працювали, знаємо, є досвід, коли полонили хробаків, а от FPV-дрони, ну, принаймні на рахунку птахів Мадяра, це перший випадок, того вирішив позапланово вам його прокоментувати. Пишаюся козаками, пишаюся вами, пілоти, за те, що знаходите в собі сили, стиснувши зуби, виконувати такі вчинки, не просто гепнути того йоблика, але ще й дати йому шанс і отак переконати FPV-дроном, щоб хробак підняв руки і направився по напрямку до позиції, здавшись у полон. Переліз хробак Ягозу, то трошки таке затягнуте на 5 хвилин відео, ну але ті, хто зрозуміє, той оцінить.
The thing is scary for me on this is you'll see how far he has to go to surrender to Ukrainian units.
Великий Яр з Ягозою, ну але зовні також відбувається патрулювання весільним дроном Mavic, суміжників Mavic не 414-ї бригади, а суміжного підрозділу, який допомагав фільмувати. Дякую вам, хлопці, за супровід. Як FPV-дрон поки веде в полон. От так, птахи. Якраз під вечір, зовсім
So
свіженькі.
literally right there's the razor wire, the 3 lines of razor wire he was walking through.
З'єднати
Here's
того
the
якийсь
trench with
сюжет
razor wire in it.
замість вечірньої, як то кажуть, вечірнього каскування. На записі зараз часу нема, роботи багато.
And
Безпілотних систем зараз об'єднуються у єдиний кулак з лінією дронів, тож і виконується та програма, котра була анонсована.
there's the Ukrainians coming to take him prisoner.
Підрозділу з'являється дрон FPV Пейна. Улітає на виконання боєзадачі.
So that's how far away he was.
У дбайливі
Literally could hit him with a water balloon.
наших штурмовиків Сил оборони України для того, щоб розповісти совчисько все, що
Again, right there's that razor wire. He was right there.
в своєму
That's the
житті
distance.
нікчемному. Таке тихої та спокійної, всім притомним, очі та жало, хробачий жах, честь.
I mean, how far would you guys guess that was? That
І
was.
дронів, тож
Let turn off the sound here. So it comes out. You know, in the first scene, he was right there with his hands up. That's the razor wire he crossed. And right there's the Ukrainian soldiers taking him prisoner. Yeah, that ain't no 75 yards. I'd say that's closer to the 20. I think Adam wins the prize. And that's basically the width of a planter. If you look at the field behind there. That's just scary how close the two fronts are. And taking prisoners that easily, or that close. Uh, the enemy fled, but the birds of the 3rd Assault Division again proved to be faster. They destroyed the armored vehicles and eliminated the manpower. Drones of 3rd Assault. Yeah, just because Vlad doesn't know what freedom units are. Yeah, I'm getting the same way, Sherlock. I feel my heart is more Ukrainian than American at this point. And it just gets worse with every tweet or true social post Trump does. Cleaning trenches with drones from K2. Trenches worked perfectly 100 years ago when infantry could find shelter there from machine guns and artillery. Now they are more likely to become a graveyard for the occupiers because K2 drones see everyone and take them out. This has a beat very similar to We Will Rock You. Hey, Anton. Good to see you. Well, that is K2 cleaning the trenches. And one of the last videos I have for you for tonight, Operational ZCU posted a new video. At least 9 enemy UAVs attacked Zaporizhia tonight. This is happening early in the morning right now, basically in Zaporizhia. Let's see what Dennis is doing. Okay, not much. Where is my favorite channel? Vona Ukraina. I like this one.
Путин! Хуйло! Путин! Хуйло! Путин! Хуйло!
One more time, just because I love it.
Путин! Хуйло! Путин! Хуйло! Путин! Хуйло!
Gotta love it. Hey, Weevo. And I believe this is one of those mobile air defense trucks. Oh, I gotta turn that down. That is all videos I have for today. With that, I will say to those that want to leave, good night. Thank you for coming. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe if you're not. But most importantly, keep supporting Ukraine. To the rest of you out there, you may have noticed I have a tab up. When I saw that post from the 412th, I started looking at apartments on the outskirts of Kyiv, ones where I could still easily get into Kyiv, but more out and away from everything. And come on, eye focus. Yeah, don't let grease splatter into your eye. It sucks. Hey Aji, thank you. I found this nice little dream of an apartment for a whopping $144 a month. Have to hop on the bus here, walk to the bus stop here and take the bus up to the metro. Oh darn. But on the very, very southern edge of Kyiv City. No, pretty basic apartment. I believe that's a composting toilet. Benches right out the front. Somebody really liked purple. So very Norwegian-esque bathroom. The drain in the middle of the bathroom, and you just take the shower in the bathroom. View out the window. Again, $144 a month. Cozy apartment with exit directly to the street, gas stove, boiler, bio toilet, central sewage, non-automatic washing machine. I'm not sure what that means. A mini bus stop that takes you right to Trmivki metro station, 10 minutes away, a grocery store, and a park for a decent tenant who respects other people's property and for long term. But that is like right there. I can get rid of that. Zoom in here and show you where that is located. Come on, Okay, I need to look at this better. Okay, just before that little notch. Okay. So just before the little notch. So in these houses right here. So very rural district of Kyiv. And I think like the house would be like back over in this area. So kind of like village life on the edge of the city. Trying to see if I could find where the Marshuka stop is. Okay, so right here's the Marshuka stop. All right, there we go. No, 10-minute drive in that bus. So, let's see. Oh, zoom in here again. So Marshuka's right there. So literally half a block or so. So literally this house right here. Walk right there. There's your Marshuka. The Marshuka will take you right to this metro bus station. Easy enough. And then from the metro, you can get anywhere in Kyiv. Seems reasonable. Yeah, manual washing can mean many things. You know, a washing machine in Ukraine's only like 80 to 120 bucks, depending on which one. I think if I got that place and was staying there for 3 months and that low of a price for rent, 144 bucks a month, fucking 450 for 3 months. You know, I'd leave a gift of a new washing machine in the apartment for the guy to rent it out to the next person. See, comments like that will get you canceled in today's culture in America, Putin. Uh, yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm having a especially hard time focusing today. Um, show you guys a trick if you're having issues like me. If you pop out chat into a separate window, control zoom, much larger font. I don't want to know what you guys are talking about when you go. Let me get that off screen. um, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting that, you know, your own, basically, it's part of the house. It's basically a duplex. So you get one half of the house for $144. And again, it's not that bad. The composting toilet is a little odd for me. You know, head a little bit towards the north, towards Irpin and Bucha. And here's one for $119 a month. Second floor out of 3 floors. Yeah. Okay, real toilet and it's cheaper.
Диван, прибирається все.
So that is a postage stamp of an apartment, though. Oh my.
Все прибирається, буде хорошо.
I think my studio apartment when I was in college was bigger than this. That's probably why it's only $119. Total living area 26 meters. Or total area 26 meters. Living area 12 meters. Kitchen 3 meters. Okay, can you imagine this for your utility bills? That's basically $13 a month in utilities. Unfortunately, my problems are not just with my eyes, and it's a minor thing with the eyes. You know, the little bit of a burn from the split second of grease popping in my eye and then blinking it out. It'll be gone in a day, hopefully. On the route from the metro station, Nivki, the apartment is on the other side of the cottage in the area. Fruit-based atomic workers village. I hope that's a mistranslation. I'm not sure I could live in a settlement called the Fruit-Based Atomic Workers Village. Combined bathroom, clothes dryer, shower, electric stove, oven, wardrobe, sofa, water meter, desk. No, doesn't look like a, unless that's a mistranslation and that's a washing machine, because most Ukrainians don't have a clothes dryer. They have a washing machine and you hang to dry. Again, I mean, it's a postage stamp of an apartment. So, fold out sofa, little mini fridge.
Диван.
Come on, turn
Прибирається
around.
все.
There's your table and a stool.
Все прибирається, буде хорошо. Блін, диван стрьомний такий.
So it doesn't look like the dryer was, or the washing machine was there. No, not there. The sink's hidden right behind there. So I don't even see the clothes washer. So that would have to be a no for me, because I don't want to do laundromat while I'm. Yeah, the car silhouette on the covers was pretty neat. Bucha, $204 a month. First floor of a 9-story building. I could deal with that. Well, washing machine, enclosed balcony. That's unusual on a first floor. That is a weird sink. I wonder why the front of it dips down like that. Yeah, that's definitely not the first floor. Yeah, I'm guessing what it is this is actually the top floor, the probably ninth of the ninth. So that's a no-go for me, but not bad. But if I'm going to pay over $200, you can be right in the city for, 180, fourth floor, 216, first floor 9. Let's check this one out. That's definitely a first floor. See how deep those walls are? Definitely brick wall. Tub. Full-size fridge. Sink in the kitchen. Oh, one of those washing machines. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what I actually end up with for my apartment in Kyiv. I was thinking, Adam, I just didn't say it. That's not too bad. Washing machine, refrigerator, boiler, very bright, spacious. Shops, cafes, blah, blah, blah. Rent includes utilities. So for 216, you don't pay anything else. That's not bad, and that's right in the city. Um, let's get to my neighborhood. Oh, I know this building right here. 288. Ninth, I don't know. No ninth floor for me. Fifth, I could deal with fifth. So, sofa, hopefully there's an actual bed. Looks like a open balcony though. I have a feeling we looked at this one before. Yeah, this window is interesting. This is a window into the shower. Let's see if it shows the bathroom, and I'll show you the window, this window from the other side. Front load washer. So you see the window right up there? So when you take a shower, you can open up this window and the window in the kitchen to like vent out. Okay, yeah, we have looked at this one before. I remember these things being in the back of the behind the toilet. But definitely doable. And again, $239 a month, not bad. Air conditioner, Wi-Fi, washing machine, fridge. What else do I need? Helping save urban internet trolley? Oh yeah, I know like in Germany they count the ground floor as 0. And then like the first floor would be the next floor up. But usually what it is in Ukraine is like a half basement, and then the first floor is like half a floor up, and then goes up from there. We go to buy. I'm wondering if that apartment is still available. It looks like it might be. This one is very interesting to me. Pretty much a blank slate for you. Looks like the floors were done and they just put down cardboard to protect it while they did the rest of the reno. Anyways, the entrance, the corridor, separate toilet from the tub. I love that about Ukraine. You know, you see all the videos out there about fecal chloroform getting on your toothbrush and stuff. Having the toilet in a separate room seems so much more hygienic. I guess like a little storage closet room. The other room with the small balcony. But I mean, this is set up for like one of the Turkish showers where you just like have a small lip to keep the water in, and then it drains right there. The line of a drain, and then your sink and it would go here. It would take some work getting it set up to live in, but very doable. It doesn't look like the balcony's enclosed, but meh. I'm sure it's not very expensive to enclose the balcony. That, again, very interesting to me. And like this area is really interesting to me because if you go to Google Maps, so like, yeah, that's the apartment I stayed in. That apartment is right here. So it's kind of away from any of the major streets. And there's this little walking path right through here. And the metro, the tramway, and the marshrukas, buses, and everything go right down this main drag. Zoo, Polytechnic, basically easy access to all the rest of the city. It's kind of funny. There's this weird split in Kyiv. If you live over here, it's really hard to get over here, and vice versa. You have to go through, like, you can't really even go through this area. There's like this one street that goes through, and it's always like super congested. So you kind of have to go here and around to get into Podil and then come back through. So like being in this area gives you greater access to the rest of the city because you don't have to come up and then go back. And of course you could always just take the metro, the red line, transfer to the green, and the green line will take you, over here. So you still have to kind of bus or tramway over into this area. It's weird. Anyway. Good morning, K-Bell. How was your night? What's a bunga bunga party? It must be some Australian thing. Oh, Chungus is streaming? He didn't say anything. No, it doesn't show. Chungus, are you streaming? You said you were going to stream tonight. I kind of been waiting for your stream to pop up so I can throw people over there. Yeah, if I could get something like that, 135 a week, so what? 520 a month? Yeah, it's a little pricey. Sitting out listening to the birds. Oh yeah. Pastures Gone Wild. Is Greg going to be on it? No, Chungus is not a rival. He's a partner in fundraising, and um, Chungus has a family to support, and he's trying to get. Well, he should already be monetized. If he's not, you need to get your two-factor taken care of. So yeah, he's got his 1,000 subs, so that gets him YouTube ad revenue as well. Just, we got to get it set up. Speaking of which, let's check me. And me again. 451 subscribers. Apparently I lost a couple subscribers over the last day or so. Because it was at 453. Oh, darn. Plus 12 in the last 28 days. So I am 49 subs away from... I'll go to earn. To be able to get supers and memberships. 49 subscribers away from the goal of 500. Well over the 3,000 watch hours in the last year. And again, to get ad revenue and shorts ads, stuff like that, again, 1,000 subscribers, plenty of watch hours, and the only thing keeping me back from having that extra income stream to help Ukraine is subs. So tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your friends, even if they don't watch, hit the sub. Go back to the dashboard. Usually it lags a couple days behind. So like if someone subbed yesterday or today, it won't show up for like 72 hours. 6,000 views in the last 28 days, 816 watch hours in the last 28 days. Little stupid shorts like the storm moving in yesterday. I should show you guys that. So heading to my doctor yesterday. And I started seeing the storm chasers parked on the side of the road. So I filmed this little short. You know it's going to be a bad one when you start passing storm chasers on the road. Hopefully I can get home before that hits. I did not get home before that hit. It's going to be a bad one when you start. So, yeah, something as silly as that. And that got dashboard, analytics, shorts. Oh, let's go content, shorts. Yeah, that little 16-second clip on YouTube got 757 views. The one about mowing my goat pen, 782. And then you sit there and look at the lives, 59. So it's it's a grind. If you want to get big, it's going to be a grind, and unfortunately political topics like Ukraine and other stuff doesn't get fed very well on the YouTube algorithm. Also, I'm kind of a Johnny come lately, so everybody else is like, oh, is already watching Georgie or Rick or Greg or blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So it is what it is. I'm not really worried about it. If I do get to the point where I can do earnings, all that money is going to go to Ukraine one way or another. I'll get you. No, no, I won't. I won't do that for 1,000 subs. Um, yeah, and that's part of the issue is like the Russian bots and trolls will sit there and downvote you. Um, if you look at likes versus dislikes, um, back when let me go short, not shorts, lives. Scroll over here. When a certain troll was coming in, they downvoted the streams. Again here, and that, as a small channel, the downvotes have a much stronger effect than when you get 1,000 views, 100 people come in and downvote you. It doesn't affect you as much as somebody with 5 accounts downvoting you when you have 82 views. You were downvoting me, yeah. YouTube's a grind, definitely. Not like showing you guys the real estate around Ukraine. I could care less if I ever get monetized on this because I just enjoy doing it. I could do this all day and go through every single apartment in Kiev and show you every single one, and I'd love every minute of it. Let's look at buy a house. Yeah, buying a house in Kiev is like way, way beyond my affordability. Oh, maybe. That's a cute little place. Tiny plot of land, but right in the middle of Kiev. That's definitely fruit trees. That's doable. It's about the price I'm looking at apartments for in Kiev, and that's not bad. Wood burner stove? Yeah, I'd have to do something about that view, because looking at your neighbor's wall, eh. But the inside's done really nice. Nice tile. A little bit of a cramped bathroom, but oh, Okay, maybe not. I'd have to check out the ceiling height. Otherwise, I'd need to learn to walk like this, unless that's a really tall refrigerator. Let's see. No, that looks really, really small. So that should be like probably a 20 by 40 tile. So 40, 80, 120, so probably 130, 140 centimeters. Yeah, that's made for short people. Okay, I've changed my mind again. I might be able to deal with having my head cranked if I have a sauna. Yeah, the NAFO label just automatically turns people off. Especially like the trolls will automatically block you or report you for anything. Now see, that looks like a normal height. Beautiful porch. I could see myself having meals at that picnic table with the grapevine. Oh, and they have a couple videos.
Так, пропонується вашій увазі будиночок дачний. Це буде такі дві.
So like 6, 7, 8, 9 fruit trees.
Будинок. Ось так це все виглядає.
Basement. Oh darn, the swing broke. Had to fix the swing.
Дрова.
Wood storage.
Є туалет на вулиці. Мангальчик стоїть. Там далі гаражик. Ось такий будиночок. Зараз йдемо у будинок. Так. Вхідні двері металеві. Це буде прихожа.
The entryway.
Обшита деревом.
I like this. And again, the roof seems like a normal size. I wouldn't have to crink my neck.
Так це все виглядає. І далі у нас буде
So this could be something like a long-term goal for me.
туалет. Є бойлер. Так. Є пічне опалення.
I'd definitely turn that into a pizza oven.
Є сходинки на третій поверх. Є вниз ще. На третій поверх не жилий. Це буде сама кімнатка така.
So yeah, I'd clear that out and make that a bedroom.
Також піч тут опалюється. І інша кімната. Там у нас буде теж сюди піч, також опалюється.
Another small little bedroom.
Також склопакети стоять. Тепер можемо пройтись донизу. Так. Це вже ми внизу.
So go down the steps.
І попадаємо. На першому поверсі ще така зала є. Тут у нас буде кухня.
Okay, so the kitchen's downstairs.
Є холодильник, мікрохвильова піч. Тут можна сюди і на вулицю виходити. Так. Є телевізор, працює. Також склопакети стоять. Тут у нас душ. А тут у нас сауна. Така банька-сауна. Ось так це все виглядає. Так що ласкаво просимо, будемо раді вас бачити.
That's interesting.
Так, вашій увазі пропонується будинок. Це буде така прихожа.
Oh, I see why they re-reported it.
Тут у нас буде вузол туалет, є бойлер. Так. Тут буде одна кімната. Ось так виглядає. Склопакети, пічне опалення, світло включимо буде. Якраз опалення на дві кімнати йде. Є телевізор. Тут буде друга кімната. Ось так виглядає кухня. Мікрохвильовка є. Холодильник, газова плита, також піч нагрівається на газовий балон. В будинку газу немає. Пічка топиться або дровами. Тут у нас буде
So the shower and the sauna is right here.
І тут у нас ходинки внизу. Ось така сауна.
Yeah, that's a... Okay, so that...
У нас така кухонна зала.
Okay, why is it still playing?
Зараз світло включимо, буде яскравіше. Ось так воно все виглядає. Є телевізор. Вашій увазі пропонується будинок, сама кухня. Це буде така
Why is it still playing?
кухня. Мікрохвильовка.
That's... Okay, I'm curious now. Let's go 6-5. Oh, no, not 8-5. Six room for 55. Left bank, but I could, depending on the building. Own furnace. Okay, I'm liking the shower. Small bedroom. Another small bedroom. Another bedroom. Another bedroom. Built in 2016, made from foam blocks. 5 rooms, kitchens, 2 bathrooms, a boiler room, pellet boiler. Oh, that's an interesting location. Let me zoom out a little bit. Get an idea of where that is at. Ah. So third, fourth building in from there. One, two, three, fourth building. So right there. Easy access to the metro. It was like right here's the house. Right there's the metro. And it'd definitely be noisy during the day. And not going to see much with that view. That is interesting to say the very least. See, is it gated off from this side? Oh, yeah, no. So this is like the way you'd have to go in. Oh, a lot of repair shops and stuff around there. But beautiful park right across the street. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think this has a yard at all to speak of. Interesting. What are you trying to say there, Vlad? It looks like you misspelled the word. Ganges Ukraine real estate tours. Isn't that already the case? 40,000 for a 3-bedroom. Okay, I'm liking this much better. Rainwater collection to water the plants. Decent little yard. But not where it says it is. This is Lakovka. So pinned to the wrong location. So, meh. Uh, that's a pretty big plot of land. But again, it's in Kyiv Oblast, not Kyiv City. Uh, yeah, so that's way over here. Not there. Okay. Let's drop this down to 40. Okay, that immediately catches my eye just outside the city. Woodhouse, no commission. 30 kilometers from the city of Kiev. Yet it's listed as being right there where the city of Kiev is next door. So I don't think that's pinned in the right location. Up towards Bucha or Peen, 31.5. Was that a dog kennel? Yeah, needs some work, but not bad. Part of the house. Yeah. So this is like a separate section and, gating off the entrance to this part from the rest of the house. I want to be close to the city. I don't know why. Ever since I left Phoenix because I was tired of big cities. I dislike people. So I moved to a town of 76 people. One of my one of my other choices here is like, this is almost my ideal house in Ukraine. The only thing I don't like about it is they whitewashed the brick. Apple tree, pear tree, cherry tree, and apricot or fig. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to tell the difference. You see the brick's been whitewashed. Metal roof. The summer kitchen in the barn in the back. Little Quonset hut for a garage, workshop. Well water right out front. This is almost like my ideal place I'd want in Ukraine. The only thing is the damage to the wood stove. I'd want to get that fixed. Oh darn, the wallpaper's peeling. So I love that place. And you can't be mad at the name of the town, Patootie. Walnut, yeah, that could be it. The fence needs some paint and maybe some sanding. House needs some paint, wallpaper, cleaning up. nothing I'm not used to. 3 rooms, kitchen, veranda, pantry, stove. A rough one. Outhouse. The only thing I wish is that it had a diagram of the layout of the house. But so I could just see what it's like. Because it's not that expensive to put in a septic system. Not the Wikipedia one. I want this one. If it actually finds it when I type in the English. No, it doesn't. So let's go catalog, construction, repair. Not electrical. Huh. Okay, maybe in a home and interior. See. Ah, plumbing. So sewerage, septic tank. I wish there was an easier way to convert that over to USD. So 3,000 liter septic tank. 40,000 would be about $1,000, so about $550 for the septic tank. 5,000 liter, getting closer to 600. $1,000 for a bio treatment one. Bioseptic, $2,000. But if you just want like a basic septic system, there you go. About $550 for the tank. Run your, the guy coming out to dig out the hole for the septic tank and put the pipes in and everything else, it costs you about $1,000 to $1,200 USD to put in a septic system, just a basic one. And there you have an indoor toilet, shower, what have you. And there you go. I mean, adding $1,000 to a place like this, 36,000 or 3,600, and you got your indoor bathroom, You know, it'll cost you more for the shower. Yeah, patootie. Oh, you cutie patootie. um, you know, mature fruit trees already there. Um, I mean, what's not to love? You know, if you've seen this place, you'd understand why I'm not too upset with having construction work to do. It is easy. Um, Septic is so much easier to do than electric. It's, you know, oh wait, glue. There you go. You know, if you're not being like super exacting on, you know, your toilet has to be right here within 3 inches or within a quarter inch. Okay, I'm 3 inches off. Who cares? Um, yeah, it's not much to have them to come out and do a dig for the day. For the houses I've refinished with Give Again. We've added septic systems to the properties, and you know, over the course of a year or two, it probably cost me probably 5,000 more to fix this place up, add a bathroom, shower, toilet inside, clean up the yard, get everything repaired and looking nice. And then this place would be worth 45, 50,000. To give you an idea of why I say that, same town, literally a couple blocks away, 28,990. So a full height fence along the edge of the property. This is the house, front porch, your entrance, root cellar, pavers for the sidewalk or the walkway up to the house, new floors, new paneling on the walls, again, new floors, new kitchen, tiled, you know, bathroom added. Yet they still have a CRT. No, I mean, it wouldn't take much to get to this condition. Okay, the boiler might be a little more expensive than I think, but a third of the size of the property. I don't think there's any fruit trees that I see. I don't think that's a fruit tree. The inside's done really nice. The outside looks cute. Easy fix up. And you're looking at 30,000. Again, put 10K into this, I'd be 12K into it. Triple the property with fruit trees, with a summer kitchen, with a barn. I mean, you're looking probably 40, 50. Don't you growl at me, you little turd. Now, 35K. Not too far away. I hear ya. Again, pavers down for the sidewalk. Ooh, she getting mad. Just time spent on the yard to make it look nice. Pavers and walkways and full fence out the front. Okay, this has a garage off the fence line, so that'd be like an extra bonus. But again, nothing too special. Oh, okay, never mind. There's a sauna in there. No shower, just a drain in the floor to drain out the bathroom. So that's your shower right there. Wood paneling. Wood paneling's so easy to put up. Sauna's nice. Pavers for the sitting area out front. Look, nice landscaped garden. And a little picnic gazebo. That's easy to do. This one has nice fruit trees. And I'm liking this because those are beehives right there and chickens. Someone's getting a little demanding. Walnut, apples. So yeah, this would be very comparable to, like, this would be like the after picture. In my place would be the before. Nice little chicken run there. Arr. Oh. I don't know if you can hear her growling at me. I'm sure you can hear me growling back. But she wants attention and she wants it now. Ooh, beehives. Okay, I'll have to call and ask the guy if the beehives and the bees come with the property. But look at the bees bearding out on the hive right there. Yeah, nice garden. Stairwell up into the attic space. Converted the attic space into 2 more bedrooms. Ooh, beautiful fireplace. Again, bathroom set up in the house. Yeah, someone put a lot of work and a lot of effort into making this look nice. And in my opinion, $5,000, a little TLC, and this place could do just as good as that. And this is 60 acres, which is like a acre and a half compared to US acres. And this one is only 28. So like 3/4 of an acre US. You add the bathroom and you add easily $20,000 worth of value to a house in Ukraine. You know, look at a mid-range one here, 8.5. So I think this needs as much repair just by basically looking at the place. So yeah, the fence needs work. The roof needs some TLC. All the paint is chipping and flaking on the windows and the doors. So yeah, it's in need of TLC just like mine. And I'm betting no bathroom installed. Well, on territory places, the barn and a well. I have a barn, a well, and a summer kitchen. And closer to the same acreage. And yeah, there you go, toilet in the yard. Outhouse. Oh, okay. It's tomorrow. I'm gonna go eat, get ready for bed. Oh God, no. I collect water here off of a steel roof, and I still only use that for garden. Ukrainian conjugation heard me pulling my hair out, so I had to switch back to German for a while. I need to focus on other ways of learning, watch more videos. Sally, what I do, one of the things I love to do is to go through Zelensky's speeches. He has them here on YouTube with English subtitles. And because he's speaking directly to the camera, and I'll show you one of the most important things I learned by doing this. You see that little lip flip that he does? Let me slow it down. See it right there? When I figured that out, my pronunciation of Ukrainian words got so much better. But so you can literally follow along with what he's saying, how he moves his mouth when he's saying it, and generally the English translation of what he's saying. Zelensky's speeches have been instrumental in me expanding my knowledge of the Ukrainian language. Tone, I have a 50 by 50 roof. 50 feet by 50 feet. You figure that out in meters. Yeah, I collect a lot of water off my roof, and I basically irrigate my entire garden, water my chickens, water my lawn, everything off of that. Half an inch of rain gets me about 200 gallons. Easy. YouTube Office of the President of Ukraine. Here's his YouTube channel. And there you go. There's all his speeches. And face right there for you. You watch his lip movements. he pronounces Ukrainian. His pronunciation of Ukrainian is very well for a native Russian speaker. And yeah, I mean, it has been extremely, extremely helpful for me learning Ukrainian. And, you know, it was from watching these that I saw that little Zelensky trick. You know, the little z. So the hardest thing for me to say before I figured that out was like ordering tea with lemon. You know, teas lemono or whatever. Chai lemono. I couldn't get that the Z sound right. And, you know, everybody knew I was foreigner or whatever just because that trying to do that Z sound without moving the corner of my mouth. And when you say that Z out the corner of your mouth, it just sounds just like a Ukrainian. Probably not just like they were being nice, being generous to me for saying that, but yeah, every single speech he's done, every address he's done is here on his YouTube, Office of the President of Ukraine. Definitely worth giving him a subscribe if you're not. And on that note, I am hungry. I need food. My puppy needs attention. The Zelensky Z, not the Russian Z. uh Yeah, I would say he's had the toughest job in the world since you came around, Putin. You know, subscribe. Office of the President of Ukraine. Definitely worth it if you're trying to learn Ukrainian. Great speeches. It's one of the reasons I like listening to it in Ukrainian, because I can catch a lot of the words as I follow along in English, and it's like, okay, put those two together. Put those two together, and definitely expanded my Ukrainian vocabulary. And with that, I'm going to say good night. Dobro noche. Na dobranich to those going to sleep. Yeah, food. Play with a puppy. Shower and bed for me. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for coming to the stream. Catch you next time. Stay safe, everybody. Keep supporting Ukraine.